2, 1. Hey y'all, Mal from the south here, and I am literally on the final step of this Battleship Texas project. I have some mixed up clear epoxy here. Let's look at what we've done. So the top layer of epoxy has been completed. I went out, I've trimmed the edges, I got everything squared up, I put my maker's mark in here, and this has been sanded down, ready to go. And so the final thing is I'm going to pour this epoxy on here, going to rub the edges out, and then tomorrow I'll be able to take the drips off, and then this thing is finished and good to go. So let's watch. This is my favorite part, is seeing how fuzzy and foggy this looks. As soon as this liquid hits this, it like shines like it's crystal clear. It's my favorite part of doing a flood coat. This is what this calls a flood coat. Look at that. See, it like brings it to life. How cool is that? And this is why I work with epoxy. To me, this is mesmerizing. This is so freaking neat, and I like get a kick out of this. And I do want to hit the edges and let it barely pour over, because I got to rub the edges down. I need to go get a spreader tool. I forgot to have that ready. That's my fault. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub this over the edges to make sure I get all the surface tension broke. So the edges can actually look really well as well. As well. Sorry, it's going to be just quiet for a minute because I'm focused on working.
This guy's an upset himself.
Y'all gonna have to stand by while I send one of my kids on a mission. Hey, Libby or Colby, I need you to go in my craft room. On my main desk, there's a silver looking thing with teeth notched into it, and it's like L shape. That's my spreader. I need y'all to bring that to me, please. And I can feel where it's dry back here and what's not. It's the same on the front. Because I've worked with this long enough, I know what it feels like. I don't even have to look back there. But sometimes I have to just double check to make sure I didn't miss any spots if my fingers didn't catch it. It's right in the middle of the table, towards the back, closer to the 3D printers. So we massaged this in on these vertical surfaces here because of gravity. It's going to fall down. So I break all the surface tension. Then when I spread this out and it does flow over, it's all ready to go. No, there's another one similar to that, but it's got notched teeth in it. And it's L-shaped because it's actually standing up like this. I'm just going to kind of rub this in a little bit. And then I'm going to spread it out. I'm breaking surface tension on the top surface here. Look at that though. I mean, look how cool that looks. What do y'all think about this? I mean, I gotta pop bubbles and stuff.
So how long does it usually take for that to cure?
So it'd gum up in about an hour and start getting to cure, and after about 4 hours it's almost semi-hard, yeah. But it will fully cure in 24 hours. Or it'll be hard to the touch in 24 hours, but it fully cures in 30 days.
But so how much time do you have to
working time? I have 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If that's what you're asking.
Yeah, to perfect the imperfections.
Yeah. So this is cool. So this is a 1/8 inch notch trowel, and what this does is basically it spreads it out to where there would only be like 1/8 of an inch of epoxy on the top, but after gravity takes effect and it falls over the edges and I push it over the edges, it actually be a little bit less.
Here is your reminder from Mom.
Oh dang, freaking Alexa's over here talking again. Got reminders going on. So there I kind of spread that out. And then what's cool is you just set this down and let it drip down. You can see the white that I've had on there previously because it doesn't get in the notches if you left it upside down. Or you can steady it that way if you use that edge. After you spread it out, it's going to come over the edges pretty good. Yeah, it looks really well. You just go ahead and pop the bubbles with your torch. Katie, you might have to zoom in on this part so they can see bubbles popping. Look how crystal clear this epoxy is. I didn't want to do it this way. What I did, this is my third pour of clear. I did not want to do layers. Now I didn't mind doing a blue layer and then one full layer of clear, but I did not want to do 3 layers of clear. I did an initial one just to seal that ship in the space into its spot, basically glue it into place. And then I did another one after that. Actually, this is the 4th layer. I did one halfway up. And then the last one I did was all the way to the surface. And now this is technically the 4th clear layer that's up there. But I come back every couple minutes just to make sure all the bubbles, like right here, I gotta monitor stuff like this because you will have it on the edges because this wood is not sealed and I should have done that, but I ran out of time. But I just hit it with a torch and it pops. I'll rub that down, get that down there. But yeah, I can come back and take a stick. Where's my mixing stick? Right there. And you can come by and scrape this to get the drips off. But right now it's so runny. I'm going to be doing this every 2 minutes. So we let it sit for about 30-45 minutes. And that's pretty much when all the drips are kind of done dripping at that point because of gravity. It self-levels and whatever flows, it'll eventually stop. And then I can come in after about 30-45 minutes, clear up all the drips. That way I don't have a lot of sanding to do on the bottom. I don't want to sand, so I actually put tape on the bottom so I can just pull the tape off. But it should be super easy without any drips. So I will come back and scrape up drips, pull them off. I do have a little epoxy left. Don't really need to pour it on there, but you always want to pour more than what you need because you don't want to come up short like I did the other day. But yeah, this is it. Pretty much on the last step right here. The last step is just cleaning up the bottom. I don't really call that a step, but this is amazing. I like it. I did take it to the router earlier and rounded all the edges so it's not sharp edges. So if anyone's handling it, you're not going to cut yourself. But this is pretty awesome. I like it. What do y'all think about it? Let me know in the comments or text me, call me. Look at this. This is one thing. That's it, Katie. Kate, I'm done. You can go if you want. Hold on. I'm going to readjust this. I don't know why it always zooms out. So there's a little bit of bubbles in there, but you can see on the bottom where it's like blue, and then that's about a 1/2 inch, and then the clear is about 1 inch. It's about 1.5 inches thick. And you got the deck wood right here. I had to trim the sides, the back, and the bottoms, but the top still has its original color from the Battleship. And you can see the crack that was in it. I had to fill this crack in with epoxy. And I did it with clear so you can see it, because this is how the wood was when I received it. Down here is really cool. There's a bolt hole, which I got part of it. So I cut, I was able to have part. I think it's pretty cool though. It looks weird because it's only part, you know, some people might want a whole full piece right there, but I think it's cool because you can say, hey, this is the deck wood that had a piece of bolt going through it. And my maker's mark's kind of blurry. I guess the epoxy made that happen, but there's some white looking stuff up here on top of this wood. That's how it was when I received it. I did not want to alter it in any way outside in the front and back, you know, and sides, cutting edges, but all these little imperfections on it is how it was when I received it, and I wanted to leave it as nostalgic as possible, so I did not touch anything on the top surface except for just pouring epoxy on it. But I like it, you know. When it's dry and not soaked in epoxy, it's actually a lighter bluish gray. When it got like this color right here, if you look at that,
Logan,
it's
here's
about,
a reminder from
hold
Mom.
on,
Get ready for bed.
stupid reminders. That color right there, that lighter color, that's kind of what it looks like when it's dry. But because it's wet, it does darken the color. So this is the ship wood. It's just darker because of it being wet. You know, if it were to rain on the deck of the ship or get wet, it would darken the wood. But when it dries up, it's actually a little bit grayer, like this gray color here. But yeah, there you have it. You got the ship made out of metal. I hit it with a torch to get that bluing effect, as you can see around the edges. I'll zoom in so you can see it. I did put a decals back here on the back. I know it's sideways, but I'm just showing you a different view. It is the BB35. Texas is on the back by the rudder. And there's the 35 up on the front too as well. But what I like about this is, look at the blue. You can see the metallics inside the epoxy. It's just sparkling and popping. And it makes it look really cool. It's not glitter. I guarantee you that it's not glitter. It's just a metallic pigments that was mixed in down there. But it looks really cool. I did put a flag in there, and the flag is representing when it was moved from San Jacinto to Galveston. It did have a flag behind that mast right there. So I wanted to incorporate that. But there you have it. That is the final project right there. And this one came out successfully. All I gotta do is wait for it to dry now, and then it is done. It did not break like the other one did in the deep cast pour. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. How would you like to have this in your house? How much would you pay for it? Who wants this? Well, you can have a chance to actually get this piece. It will be going into an auction later on, and you can bid on this piece whenever the Battleship decides to have an auction. And you could possibly have this piece in your house. But if you can't win this in an auction, get a hold of me anyway. I'll make you another one similar. There just won't be any parts from the actual Battleship, but I can make something similar to it without Battleship material. But if you want the actual Battleship material, which is deck wood here, that metal is not made from metal from the ship. That was just another steel that I got when I was in school. But if you want this specific piece, you know, you're definitely gonna have to get in the auction to bid on it. But I can make you another one without the Battleship materials. If you need a cutting board, charcuterie board, or whatever, surfing board, with or without epoxy, let me know. Get a hold of me, and we can discuss making you one. But I'm going to leave it right here and show you all the final thing, because I think it looks pretty freaking cool.